Um, yep, I feel like I got a lot more, I was a lot more focused, got a lot more done. I just think the weeks coming here is building up to really being able to focus and time block, prioritize, all of that stuff. I feel like I'm doing so much better, and I'm coloring in my lenses thing that I use. I've just put so many more things in red, which is so when I see them in red, I just don't even think about them, don't look at them. They're not for this week. And so now half of them are red because this is why I couldn't do everything. So that really works for me. I just see the stop sign. And everything else, even if I just do a little bit on it, I color it green. So it's kind of like I'm getting a lot more completed, a lot more greens out of what's left, red. And yeah, so focusing and doing more mini mind maps for little goals, and they're working really well. And the calendar, I've set that up as a word thing and kind of color coded different time block things. So I thought, oh, that's kind of quite fun because I can just change that every week. And so those are all wins. I'm finding completion with the shaken baby syndrome. I've completed components and I'm still thinking how far do I want to go, but I'm not really getting much response. So it might be that I've got everything there and it might be for another time. I don't know. Or I just needed to do it, and that's fine too. Um, and yeah, so I'm finding completion with that. And you might have seen it all over my Instagram, I mean, social media. I'm going to be writing one of the co-authors in the next Voices of Impact book. And that's super cool because when I was working with Amber last year, I started to write parts of my life story and something I'd thought about for years. And through that coaching, I just did it. And then I'd been invited to speak at Born Worthy event, which the event didn't go ahead. So I've got these parts that I've been writing, and now it's like, and now there's an opportunity and the time to do something with that. So that kind of has felt really cool too. It's kind of like a completion and a beginning. That way.
That's so cool. Well done. Congratulations. That's awesome. So cool.
Yeah.
Great wins.
Yeah, so those are my wins. Work's going really well too, and I was triggered this week, and I spent a morning crying. I'm like, why am I triggered? Why am I crying? It's just, and it's like, yeah, but working through that, and I actually, yeah, pushed back on it rather than accepting being put in a certain space. So that felt good, like a win too. Um, and yeah, my sours is. What am I doing for business? What am I creating? I still don't know. And I have realized I really don't like sales, and I've done heaps of sales stuff now. I've gone to heaps of transformational sales thing. I actually don't like sales, and but I'm still learning it. I'm still in a sales container, but realizing that that is maybe a bit of a problem for me if I want to go and do business. So I'm just navigating thoughts around that and reflecting.
Sales is always something that you can outsource, though.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good to understand it, but it is also something that you can outsource.
I didn't think of that. I really don't like it. I feel like I don't feel like other people. I don't like how it feels manipulative. Like I don't like it for me. I just don't like the process.
Hmm.
It feels for me, it takes away being genuine about what I'm saying, like with this focus on trying to get a sale out.
Mm.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about outsourcing because I want the money. I want it sold, whatever it is I'm doing, once I figure that out.
Yeah, there's also soul-based selling, which isn't as manipulative. And it's a different
Yes.
way of selling. It's attraction. It's not about, it's like it's that allowing the customer to decide for themselves if it's something that they want. And there's no selling in that. It's just receiving, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't have to sell. You just get to put your stuff out there, and if you create enough value for someone that will, and it's what they're looking for at the moment, then they'll find you, they'll buy.
Yeah. Yeah. That all makes sense. Yeah. It's a really good way to think about it. Yeah.
I think sitting on it at the moment, don't force, you don't need to force like coming up, figuring it all out. The superconscious way is to choose the end result and just trust in each action that it will come, that you don't need to figure it all out now, right? You just need to kind of have that choice of what it looks like in the end result and what it feels like and what it is and how it is. And all the little puzzle pieces will kind of fall into place, and you don't know why this has happened or this or this or this, but then in hindsight you'll look back and go, oh, okay, that's it, all happened like this because it needed to happen that way. So there's no need to force anything. You don't need to force like trying to figure it out. There's the feminine side of surrendering to it, surrendering to, okay, this is what I'm doing right now, this is where my focus is going. I'm, I don't really know how I'm going to get here, but I trust that this is what I'm creating. And right now, what do I need? Maybe it's just allowing time to just roll and for certain things to come into play. You might meet someone during the week that you have a conversation, and then that flows into that something else. So just keeping in that energy of that end result and just surrendering into that life experience a little bit as well, and then just enjoying the ride, and releasing that pressure of, oh, I've got to sell and I've got to this and I've got to that, because you don't have to do anything, right? There's nothing you need to do, just action to take. I think that's a William Whitecloud, The Magician's Way.
Yeah, that
So
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
mm,
And really aligns with some thinking I had yesterday.
great, awesome. On you're riding this wave, Nikki. It's awesome to see you blossom and all these opportunities come up. Amazing. I'm loving seeing this for you. It's so cool. And I loved your piece on the ladybirds and their invisible wings, their hidden
Oh,
wings. That was cute. I actually had a ladybird land on me the other day, last week,
oh, did
on
you?
Tuesday or something. Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah.
Very special.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you. Thank you.
I'll go just briefly, Nikki. Depending on, I mean, I've been in sales for decades, but it depends on what the product is and what the market you're looking at, because you can actually sell through information and education. So you don't actually sell, but you provide the information, and it leads off what Amber said, because that information will trigger people's interest. Then they'll want to know more. So you actually are not selling anything. You're presenting. I mean, I don't even know what you're trying to sell, a book or whatever like that, but it's through information and education you'll start to attract the market. And exactly what Amber says, know your desired reality and know the market that the book's going to, and then you can actually because some people don't always know they've got the problem that you're solving until you put the information out. They go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, what else do I need to know about that? And it's the problem and the paradise type thing. So Chris actually does, there's bits and pieces of what we did with Chris actually does a lead through. But so if you just be yourself and don't try and sell, because I sell consultatively these days, I don't actually sell something because the customer may not want what I've got. So we actually ask the questions first. And then it's only once you get it right narrowed down, and then you go, right, if you've got this problem, I can offer you this potential solution, and go from there. But that's a whole nother discussion for what we're doing here today. But it's just be yourself.
Thank you.
Don't try and sell, because you're not being authentic if you're pushing the sale. So if you stay within yourself and just present the information, it'll happen. But it's a more of an organic way of selling rather than direct. Here's my book. It's on Amazon. Buy it for $39.99 and whatever. So just depends on what you're trying to do. So, but that's another
Thank
discussion for
you.
another day.
That's helpful, and it's exactly information and education. So perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I mean, I could talk all day on this, but we won't. This is Amber's session, not mine.
Same.
Love it. Thanks, Andrew.
Basically, mine, I didn't have any major highs, major lows last week, but I got another module finished in digital marketing, so I am pushing that barrow along all right. I'm working on a tender at the moment, so that's taken up a reasonable amount of my time. So, but yeah, the week went all right. I had training yesterday with Rotary, which was good, more networking for me. I take on a district youth role next year for Rotary, so it's good. Saturday was pretty cruisy at Scout stuff. So in all, it was a pretty good week. I had no real sours other than sales are slow at the moment, but we're generating a lot of interest, so that'll come. But just there's not much happening with anyone at the moment. So so my week was no major swings either way, but I got through, got things done. Still working on blocking out my time, but I'm getting there. So, but yeah, other than that, that's me. So
Great. Cruising along. It's great you're getting a module done with the digital marketing. That's awesome.
yeah, I'm chipping away. I'm making sure I do some every week now rather than trying to do it in bigger blocks. I'm just doing it in smaller stuff. And yeah, we're getting it. The needle's moving.
Awesome. Good one. Well, yeah, not many challenges, just kind of tickling along. Is there an area that you need support in, or?
No, not unless you can give me a rep support. I just need more help there. So, but a lot of it is, and a little bit of what Nikki talks about is the distraction because so much is going on, because I've got a lot of interest. So, but it's more now acknowledging, if something's coming in trying to grab my attention, I go, well, is this important to what I'm doing now? Other than that, I just acknowledge, I write it down and go, right, I'll get to that. Or I say to that person, look, I'm in the middle of something now. I'll get to you either this afternoon or tomorrow, and then I can work on that thing for you. So it's taking those distractions out until I get the main thing that I'm doing on finished. Then I go back to the other. I mean, some things are really, really urgent and I deal with them on the spot. But these days I go, look, yeah, mate, I acknowledge, I see your email, I'll get to you in a period of time. And
awesome. Creating those boundaries, healthy boundaries to stay
well,
focused.
yeah. It's like anything. I used to do it years ago, then it drifts away. And then, even these discussions are quite helpful because, oh, that's right, I used to do that. I used to do that. So you just start implementing it back in. And like anything, once you start doing it often enough, it becomes a habit. So it doesn't become any thought process anymore. You just go, bang, yep, done, right, off you go, and it'll come back to it. So no, it's good. So.
Yeah, awesome. Good one. Good to hear. Awesome. Natalie, would you like to share some sweet and sours?
Sure. I'm actually a little bit sick at the moment as well, which is I look a bit off, but yeah, I had a really interesting week. It was quite mellow in that sense as well, and it was amazing to feel, actually, because I'm very used to extremes and high and lows, and it wasn't without challenges. I could relate to Nikki when she was like, I spent a whole half a day crying. I had this massive trigger early in the week, and I was supposed to go and look after my sister's kids afterwards. And I ended up being in a rush, and I jumped in the car, and I called her to let her know that I was a little bit late. And she was just like, are you okay? And I was like, no. And I just like turned around, and she's like, it's fine, I'll sort out the kids. And so I just turned around and went home, and I like time blocked my crying and like just allowed everything to happen. And then after an hour or something, I distracted myself and forced myself to do something else. So yeah, I feel like I managed that really well, and I needed to feel all of those things, and process it. So I'm kind of really happy that I let myself do that. And I can't remember if it was you or Nikki mentioned this kind of topic of surrender, and with a couple of my friends, it's really come up in some of our conversations this week. So I don't know if I think we had a new moon like a couple of days ago as well, and I think yeah, I've been feeling this real theme of surrender this week, because I signed my contract for my new job, and yeah, yeah, it's a bit scary because it's a corporate office job, and so I feel like I need to surrender to that idea, because I've had all of these concepts and notions around a corporate and office job not being me, but I'm focusing on all of the positive things that it's going to allow for me in terms of structure and stability, and um yeah, a lot of positives, and I'm excited about the actual work I'm going to be doing as well. It's good stuff. So yeah, those are all pretty big wins. The sour was probably telling the kind of job that I've been doing for the last couple of weeks just to earn some money, that my availability has changed. And my boss kind of, I don't know, she seemed like she reacted a little bit. I don't know if there was like hints of narcissism in there, but basically, yeah, she was kind of focusing on everything that she wanted, and when I could do the things that she wanted, she was super nice to me. And then as soon as I told her something that she didn't like, she just like didn't respond. She hasn't responded to me since last Thursday when I told her, and I suggested all of these solutions, like I could still do 1 or 2 days a week, da, da, da. She just hasn't written back, and I feel like I've had this behavior before, and now I recognize it, and it just gives me this real kind of fuck you feeling, whereas before I would have just been like, why isn't she writing back? Why? And I'm just like, you know what? This is really unprofessional and really unkind, and I don't need to do it. And when she does write back, I'm just going to be like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
You didn't respond, so I made other plans. And yeah, unless I need the work, then I'll take it. But not going to allow myself to get emotionally involved in that, and be treated that way because I've had it before, and no.
Yes. Well done, Natalie.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a
Awesome.
sour, but also an opportunity, for me to like recognize pits that I've been in before that I'm not going to let bring me down this time. So yeah, that's really good. Yeah, and I think the last thing was just kind of having this last week. I felt like I had a lot of time and not much overwhelm, which is really new for me. So I think surrendering to that as well, because I'm so used to feeling overloaded and overwhelmed. And this week I was kind of feeling this whole like, everything feels manageable. This is weird. And just surrendering to that as well, and not trying to be like, I've got this gap in my calendar. What am I doing wrong? And feeling like I need to fill it, just enjoying that free space before I start my job this week, and enjoying the things that come up, like, oh, what am I going to do with this 2-hour block that I just have? And choosing really consciously how I wanted to spend it, even if it wasn't with productive things. So yeah, it's
Nice.
been a good week.
Awesome. So good. Yeah, that I mean, there's an element of time blocking your emotions is great, but also allowing yourself, like if you need more, do that. But interesting because I know you've tried many different strategies, and you know, whatever works and gets you through. And it's great to see that kind of everything's just falling into place feeling. And you know, recognizing your boundaries is amazing. Yeah, definitely for me, I had a meeting with my new financial and business mentors on the Gold Coast, and they're the company that I'm going to start doing property flipping with and things like that. But they're like a whole business and financial mentors. So I had my one-on-one meeting with him, and it was just incredible. He's very fifth dimensional as well, and what I got from that conversation was around that surrender as well. So that theme of surrender is really coming through in the field at the moment. And what does that really mean? It's like just being okay with everything that's going on and noticing, oh yeah, like I've got some extra time here and I've got some extra time here. And I really went granular with my time blocking this week and next week as well, like real, because I've got the dog now. I've got to take the dog out for a walk, so that goes in there. And also just being like with actual tasks that I really need to get done, and just having that one task in there, and decided to have a Saturday as a business day. And so, you know, just feeling good about like saying no to certain things and actually getting some stuff done, and being okay with having a 6-day week, you know, like having one day off, one weekend off, because I allowed myself to have that time off to recover from being sick. And even though it wasn't like a huge productive week, it felt extremely productive because I was just in flow and surrendering to what was happening at the time, you know, managing my sickness and managing all different changes and things like that. So really love that idea, and that it's a very feminine thing of surrendering into that moment, but it's also very powerful. It's the powerful feminine. It's like, you know, releasing any control of how it should be, releasing that control, you know, is actually like allowing yourself to just be and live and enjoy that moment.
Yeah, like letting go of that masculine kind of drive that we're taught that we need to have, and the
Always
hustle.
got to, always got to do, and it's got to be
Connecting with
productive
intuition.
doing, right? And it's not necessarily the case. So you've got to know when to bring the masculine doing energy in, because it's very productive energy and you need that as well, but also knowing when to bring that feminine in and going, you know, how can I surrender more to this week and just be okay with how it unfolds. And we both, you know, even Andrew, as you know, as a male, you've also got to bring that feminine part in and hold that masculine as well. And it's so, you know, we all, as a woman or a man, we hold that polarity and recognize what parts where is our strength and where we're really good at, and, you know, recognizing, okay, where I need to where, you know, you need to maybe surrender more, or when you need to step it up more, and knowing yourself and knowing putting those boundaries in place to help you and support you. If you know that it's a weakness, then you know, don't let you know, put boundaries in place for success, right? So that you're able to support yourself when you know you need that support. Like Natalie, you know, you knew you were like, I'm going to time block this because I know I can just sit in this forever. So, you know yourself, understanding yourself, recognizing, you know, when actually, you know, to set the boundaries of this, someone treating you, you know, ignoring your messages and things like that, you know, knowing that that's not what you value. I don't deserve to be treated like that, and all of, you know, and just saying yes, no thanks, but no thanks is a powerful a message that you're sending the universe, is that this is what I value. I don't value being treated like this, so I actually won't tolerate it. And so that's like that's, you're communicating what you want and what you don't want, right? And so that's like an end of a chapter. And I feel like you're coming into this new chapter in Australia, coming back from your travels and, you know, getting a job and a different job. And it's like there's this, and it's interesting, you're sick too, because this sickness for me, and now I'm seeing it for you as well, it's an up level, it's an upgrade, and this opportunity to process the toxins and the old self, and you're processing, your body is actually physically processing it out of your body, your old self, your old habits, your old values, your old, like that, you know, it's actually a symbol. Everything's kind of this very symbolic, this life, right? And so how I see it and my understanding and my belief around the sickness is that physical expression of up leveling, letting go of the old and actually coming into the new, and feeling that myself with my new mentors and my new direction, and then with you with this new job, and, you know, getting self-settled and actually knowing when to say no, having your boundaries, you know, like it's that opportunity to actually go, oh yeah, what are the beliefs now that I'm choosing to believe? What's the identity that I'm choosing to become? What are the values that I'm choosing to bring into my field now, with this, you know, new environment, new structure, new job, and all of that? It's an opportunity for you to actually reset your like what you've hardwired in, let go of the old and stepping into the new, and recognizing those new beliefs can come in and live by them, and then make a commitment, right? A commitment to uphold your values, a commitment to yourself to say, I won't accept anything less than this standard. And keeping your standards high, keeping yourself to that highest standard, and an opportunity to go, okay, clean slate, not dropping back to that standard or that old way or that old self, or Andrew, you know, like not dropping back to that old way of procrastinating and having this big block and then not doing anything. You know, you're stepping up, you're having a new standard. You do one module a week, done. Like you have to get that done. That's a minimum standard, right? So we're creating these new standards for ourselves, and live that, like step up to that, be that, breathe that. Every opportunity is an opportunity to create these new neural connections of saying, I'm someone that does this. I'm someone that shows up at this standard, and allowing that old self to kind of just be replaced, and that circles, and then it comes back up, and that creates a new belief, right? It learns, you teach yourself a new standard. You teach yourself as we grow and get more information about how the world is and what we want. We allow our whole being to up level and grow, right? So it's about creating these new standards for yourself, new beliefs. What are some beliefs right now that perhaps you could do with an upgrade? Sometimes it's hard to recognize those beliefs because it's our autopilot. What are you doing on autopilot right now that perhaps needs a little bit of a shake-up? that you could higher your standard and not accept anything less than that. Know your standard, and actually, even if you do need the work, Natalie, still say no, you know,
Yeah.
because that's your standard. You're not going to work for someone that treats you like that. Like that, this is your standard now. And when you say no to something like that, something else is going to come in. And you're not going to need that, because this thing, you trust that this is my standard. Yeah. As hard as it is in terms of that financial thing, when you're in that push for, looking for something at your standard so that you can, it's a scary thing to say no to something when you know you need it in terms of financial, but you never need it, because you're still, if you say yes to that standard, then you're bringing your standards down, right? It's always about that communication. What are you communicating? What's the invisible instruction that you're communicating? Every action, every thought, every behavior, everything that you communicate, what's that invisible instruction that you're telling yourself? And am I living up to my standards? Am I really doing what I say I am going to do?
Yeah, I was having a chat with a friend last night, who, well, she lives in Spain, and I had spent a bit of time with her in Spain when I was over there, and when I was feeling quite unstable, and I was just like, I just need stability in my life. And she said, like, look at what you're doing. Like, where's the stability? Like, there is no stability in what you're doing. And she always hits me with these tough love things. And yeah, and I just said to her last night, I feel like I'm creating what you called me out on now. And yeah, what I was saying and what I was thinking and what I wanted and what I imagined for myself was so not aligned with my behavior. And so, like, bringing those two things in together. And I've even been practicing a little bit this week with, it's pretty much like the lenses. I've got my to-dos, like the things that I need to do that day, and then my focus / priorities, and like, do those two things align? And am I just doing and not focusing on my, like, what I want, and my focus on my priorities, because I'm just filling my calendar up with all of these things. And it's a little bit like what Nikki was saying, like, what are all of the things that I could do, and what are all of the things that I'm actually going to do, and what do I need to do, rather than like, what are all the things that, my creative brain wants to jump from one thing to another and go all over the place, but what actually needs to get done right now, today, and kind of bringing that focus back in. So practicing that is hard for creative.
Yeah, because sometimes the action that needs to happen is not fun and creative. It's like mundane. It's like doing your taxes, right? Like, it's like, it needs to happen, but it's not fun, so you put it off, right?
Yeah.
But on the other side of that is more freedom, more fun, more creativeness. So yeah, that's why the time blocking is important to have in there, because you have a balance of all the things you have to do, to life admin, I like to call it, is like, life admin could take all year. You can fill your calendar up with life admin for as long as you want, right? You can look at your desk and go, oh yeah, I need to do that. And you can fill your day up easily with so much life admin. And starting new projects and like but when coming back to what I've just started doing is actually a 7-year plan. So coming back to your 1 year and what you want to achieve, but actually, okay, what's my 7-year plan? Whoa, that's scary for an entrepreneur. That doesn't is just, so Love
Yeah,
that.
no, I think expanding out into that, you know, I just did it for a fiver as well. And expanding out into that 5 or that 7 years allows you space for those things and to not feel like it needs to be done right now. It's like, I have
Yes.
all of these things that I want to do and all these courses I want to take and things that I want to learn, but that can be in my 3 to 5 space. You know, that's for later. And putting it, allowing yourself that space to put it there, and then you don't have to stress that it's not here now. Yeah.
Nikki, take note. 5 years. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is, because we want to do everything now, right? All at once. All the things all the time. So, all right, well, beautiful conversation today. Want to step into a little meditation to get you into your next obvious action coming into next week, and beyond. So choose, yeah, we'll go into the life I love, but also bringing in your choices into that. So as I say the words, also bring in your choices and use it to with your specific choice that you're choosing to create. So just closing your eyes down and just taking 3 nice deep breaths in through your nose, filling your belly and your lungs, and hold it. And breathe out. And breathe in through your nose, filling your belly, filling your lungs. Hold it at the top. Feel that tension as you hold this breath. And big release, let it go, and sigh if you have to. And one more, breathe in through your nose, filling your belly, filling it all the way up, filling your lungs, filling your shoulders and your head, and hold it. And without breathing out, just hold it and release your body without breathing out. And just notice if you can do that. And breathe out. And just back to regular breath. Knowing and trusting in the breath, that it's always got your back. You don't need to do anything. You can just be at one with your breath. And choose to, every time that you breathe in love and light and nourishing energy that serves you well. And breathing out love and light and energies that serve you and others. And just train yourself. Every time I breathe in, insert new belief. You can do this for any new belief that you choose. Every time I breathe in, I create health and vitality. Every time I breathe in, I feel gratitude for the life I live. Every time I breathe in, with every breath I take, I see, feel, hear, know acceptance of abundance around me. With every breath I breathe in love for myself. And just as you breathe, I want you to continue this mantra, inserting the belief systems that you choose, the standards that you choose, and any energy you'd like to send to yourself. Every time I breathe in, insert your new belief. Every time I breathe in, I attract positive and happy relationships around me. Every time I breathe in, money falls in my bank account. Every time I breathe in, it makes me smile. Every time I breathe in, I choose to live the life that I love. With every breath I take, I move further and closer and further towards my dreams, my end results, and my choices. Every time I breathe in, I love my life more. And as you breathe, just feel that sensation inside your body, that presence. Feel your consciousness inside of you, your physical body. Feel your consciousness outside of you, in the room that you're in, the home that you're in, the suburbs, the country. Feel your consciousness expanding even further. With every breath you take, you feel more and more connected to this universe, to your surroundings. And every time you feel upset or angry or discouraged or annoyed with someone or something, you recognize that in yourself. And with every breath, you choose to send love to that part of you that gets annoyed or frustrated or upset. You send love and light to that part of you that gets triggered by any external force. In so doing, you accept every part as above, so below, as within, so without. And just feel that oneness and connection to all that exists, to every human being, every animal, creature. Feel that level of consciousness, of oneness. And just taking your choice now, choosing one of your projects, one of your business, one of your, something that's in your 5-year plan, this end result that you just love. And you just can't wait for it to be complete. When you just step into the completion of this choice, I want you to feel your body in this choice. How does it feel? What are you hearing? What do you see? What do you taste? When you're in this end result, how are you being? And now, having completed this end result, I just want you to notice all the people around you that have part of this journey, part of this impact. All of the people that have been involved in this transaction, this creation, whether it's your team, your family, your friends, your customers. Just notice all the other people that are involved in this end result. Just want you to feel their presence. Feel all of those souls that are in your field now, that have supported this creation. I want you to notice now how you have helped them and supported them. And the reason why they're in your field is because of you, because of this end result. All these people have been impacted. And it's all because of this creation. I invite you just to feel into this immense energy now. And just breathe. Breathe this energy in. Breathe with this energy. Feel it inside of you. Feel the union of breath amongst all of these people. Feel that weight just lift off your shoulders and feel immersed in this energy, this vibrant light, nourishing energy. Now just floating up above this moment, floating up above, and just seeing this from the bird's eye view, from this superconscious perspective. And looking back down your timeline, noticing all of the things that had to happen to get you to this point, to this completion. And seeing without seeing, knowing without knowing. Allow it to be there. Taking yourself to the current moment. So just floating back down into now. Seeing that completion. Noticing what it looks like in your mind's eye when you go to that place and you look down up your timeline and you can see it there. Just notice what it looks like for you. What's the symbol? What's the color and texture of this image? I just want you to bring yourself back to now and this week ahead. And just focusing, what is that next obvious action? What feels right to just take action on? And just take notice of what that is. And if you need to write it down, you can do so. And come back into the field and get more information. I just want you to feel in this moment, or all the current humans, people that are in your field, that currently give you energy and love and joy. And just feel some gratitude of where you are right now and the journey that you're embarking on. I want you to look back on your past selves and send gratitude to the past selves that you've been, that has got you to this point. Allowing your past self to be included in your current self and your future self. In that evolution of self. Just allow it to just be at peace and at included in this oneness. And realizing that all past selves all just want the same thing. So just taking a nice deep breath now. Breathing down that path that you've chosen for yourself, that journey. Feel the excitement, whatever emotion that comes up for you. Setting your intention for this week to live the life that you love, to be the predominant creative force in your life, and just fall deeply in love with your life, the uniqueness of this creation. Choose to live your true nature and purpose as a creator, with purpose, creating the life that you love. Choose to be healthy and vital in a body that supports you, in a mind that supports you, in a soul and a spirit team you feel connected to, knowing that you can ask for guidance at any point. Feel connected, feel supported. In this moment, you have access to it all. And with your next breath, you solidify all of this into your field, bringing it all together and breathing out your creation and your next obvious action. So be it, so it is. I now bear witness to this creation. And with that, as the sun just parts through the clouds, bringing your consciousness back into this room, back down into your body, wriggling your toes and your fingers, energizing every cell in your body with nourishing light. Taking that breath, waking yourself up, opening your eyes, coming back to the call. Welcome back. Would anyone like to share any experience? Or are we ready to just take on this week?
There was one thing, Amber, I mean, we all hear of path of least resistance, but something that popped up with that was also the path of the greatest value. Because obviously water will flow around rocks. It looks just for the easiest way. But as we go on our paths, we're going to bump into rocks. We're going to hit the rock and go over the rock, or we'll get thrown off course a little. But just because it's rough, that doesn't mean it's not the path that's going to give you the greatest value.
Love that. Love that insight. Beautiful. So true.
Yeah, I had that reflect, not necessarily during this meditation, but I had that reflection, I think it was last night as well, of like the easy way versus the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. If it was easy to get to the things that you really want, everyone would be doing it, right? But it gets to be fun, it gets to be easy. It can be. It's just what the choice that you put on what is a challenge. The meaning you put behind it.
Because everything's balanced. If someone's judging you, look at who's loving you and things like that. It's, if part of your life's hard, where's part of your life easy? And so there's always balance. So that's the thing. Sometimes we only focus on the negative without realizing that the positive is there as well. We're just not choosing to see it because we're just focusing on being in the pit. So look for where the other part of it is to balance. So
great insight. Yeah, I think we're all pretty good with that. Love it.
I was just thinking about how all the elements are in flow, even though they're separate, but they're in flow together, and allowing myself to be in flow with the universe rather than going against it, rather than just going with it, which includes all the elements. Sometimes it feels like fire, sometimes it feels like rough water, beautiful water. Sometimes it's like you're on mountains, sometimes it's you're sliding down the, you're in the
Can you see that?
landslide. Oh no, I can't see
Yeah,
that.
it's elements: fire,
Oh,
air, earth, water.
oh, and I've just been invited to an elements party next weekend in Byron. So it's like I had elements on my mind this morning. So, and that just came through in that meditation. And also thinking about, and I was connecting it with the book because there's that kind of part of the chapter is about transformation and thinking transformation isn't, sometimes there are little moments, but it's a journey over time. It's not a or one moment. It's a flow, it's a journey, it's a process. It's um yeah. I was talking to someone the other day and I'm like, I remember the first time I spoke in front of a group of people and I was so scared. And I'm not scared now. I can speak in front of hundreds of people, and I have for years, but I don't know what happened. I don't know what brought me from being afraid to not being afraid at all. I don't even remember. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. It's that gradual process of just becoming.
Just doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. Amazing, guys. Well, have a most amazing week and slay it.
Yeah. I just want to go and lie down and go back there.
You can do that too. Amazing. I'll put the replay up shortly. Have an awesome week and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Amber.
See you
Thank
later.
you, Amber. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.